Please help a starving artist out by supporting me on Coffee. Thank you. Bowser was angrily chasing after Mario and Peach. This time had been over so fast, like he had been flying through the Mushroom Kingdom. And now, Mario was running at such a high speed, away from Bowser. The King of Koopas just barely kept up with them. Clearly, Mario wasn't in the mood today for his meddling with Peach, but what was he to do to get Peach's attention anyways? By now, it was too late to just simply ask her out. Though, maybe he could probably try and be a little patient. With the princess in his arms, bridal style, Mario jumped on top of Warpipe and turned around, looking at Bowser. Mario? Peach looked at the plumber confused. So long, Bowser! Before jumping down the Warpipe, without saying another word. Did Mario just taunt him? He must have learned that from that blue hedgehog. Bowser roared the angriest and mightiest roar he ever roared, before climbing up on the Warpipe. The King of Koopas now wanted more than just Peach's hand. He wanted Mario's head mounted on his bedroom fireplace. Yes, Bowser would drink tea right under it, smack his lips as he enjoyed the taste while leaning back in his lounger. Bowser Jr. playing in front of the fireplace with some toys. Yes, those were the thoughts. That was the dream. At least that's what Bowser thought, as he jumped headfirst into the Warpipe. Problem was that only for a moment he got stuck. After angrily flailing his feet for a few seconds, however, he managed to wiggle himself inside with a loud plop. Bowser was now pushing through the narrow warp pipe. His face twisted into an angry grin. Not this time, Plumber, he thought. However, the King of Koopas' ambitions were crushed, as he burst through the light at the end of the tunnel, or, well, maybe burst through was the wrong choice of words here, as Bowser grabbed the rim of the Warpipe, angrily realizing that he was stuck. The King of Koopas pushed with his mighty claws, trying to get free. Damn it. Oh god, this was so humiliating. Come to think of it, he did eat a lot of cake with King Boo recently. No. King Bowser shook his head. There was no time to think about that. But no matter what Bowser tried, his massive body just would not budge. Clawed feet kicking helplessly in an attempt to help with his efforts, but at the same time, he felt as if the more he pushed, the more difficult it became to breathe. Not to mention, he was probably making it worse. Quickly, his denial of the situation turned to anger. Maybe he was just not putting enough effort into it. Roaring angrily, he pushed and pushed and pushed, only to hear the loud crack and pain equivalent to a needle being buried into his back. And with a quiet thud, one of his back spikes landed on the ground. In his anger, he shook too much in the pipe and ripped it straight off. Warp pipes were usually malleable and would do their best to adjust to a person's size. It was unheard of that someone couldn't fit through them. This couldn't get any worse. Bowser sighed. After a short panic about the situation, he looked up at the clear blue sky. Come on, he said quietly. Someone use the pipe and get me out, please. Please. His bargaining led to a heavy wave of sadness. There was no way. If someone were to use the pipe now, they would be stuck behind him. And thus Bowser, the mighty King Koopa, shed a tear of humiliation and sadness. And just as he was about to accept his fate, forever be stuck in this wretched pipe, a Goomba waddled over the pipe, only to be surprised to see the ally of King Goomba.
King Koopa?
Asked the Goomba. Bowser reared his heavy head to look at the newcomer.
Finally, allies,
he shouted.
Please help me, I'm stuck. Oh dear,
said the Goomba.
Don't worry about it, my king. I will do my best to save you.
Quickly now, the Goomba jumped off and ran somewhere into the wilderness. Bowser sighed. You better not jump into the pipe and try to push him out. A simple Goomba must have been too weak. He needed Kamek and the other Magic Koopas. That was the only hope he had. More time passed, and day soon gave way to night. In the meantime, Bowser had decided to draw into the gravel below him a mural of a mighty battle, though it was just some stick figures beating each other up. It was then Bowser heard the noise of footsteps coming closer. Someone was coming to give his solitude some purpose, and his jaw dropped when his eyes fell upon you. You were wearing overalls and an orange plumber hat, toolbox in your right hand. Mushroom Kingdom Handyman, you introduced yourself, holding out your hand. Bowser still looked at you, perplexed, yet he took your hand and shook it. Kamek sent me. Bowser's face turned into a pleased smile upon hearing the familiar name.
Yes, Kamek, good.
Bowser sighed in relief.
So you're a plumber?
You shrugged. A plumber, a tailor, a locksmith. We do a lot of handiwork around here.
So what now?
I'm just here to tell you the plan. I got this handy-dandy warp vessel now, thanks to your predicament. That won't work on you, however. So the way I might use it is to get quickly back to your castle and then go through the same clogged-up pipe, and then I push you from behind. Bowser's face scales heated up out of embarrassment. But before we do that, you said. Fearlessly approaching the giant lizard. Opening your toolbox, you pulled out some machine lubricant.
What are you?
You quickly smeared the thick layer of lube around the Koopa, making sure as much as possible got under him to ensure a safe and easy flush. Bowser did his best to look away from you. Being stuck in this was one thing, but a pretty lady like you helping him out of it? That was a little much for the shy Koopa. After you were done, you gently petted the king's cheek. Don't worry, my liege. It'll all be over soon. He looked into your eyes, feeling a little lost. This was the first time he had been touched with such gentle hands. You then blew the whistle and teleported away in front of his eyes.
This better work,
he growled. A while later, he felt a sudden jolt on his butt that made him shout in surprise. You hit his bum a little harsh and unprepared. The force of the warpipe finally releasing after you hit him. Alright there, my king, you shouted, hoping he could hear you. Luckily he did. I'm gonna be pushing now. As you prepare to charge with your shoulder against his backside, you hoped desperately the Koopa would not suddenly, release some gas. That would certainly make this a lot more awkward. Lucky for you, that didn't happen. Inside the hot and tight pipe, you pushed and pressed against him. Feeling your warm body press on him like that made Bowser's face heat up so much his face turned red. And after a particularly mighty push, he grunted. "Sir, my lord, thought that was the one." He blinked.
No, that was a great attempt.
"I aim to please." Over and over your shoulder pushed into him. And eventually, at some point, Bowser felt some release. He didn't notice the small progress the two of you made until he could take a deep and long breath. Finally. That was the best breath he had ever taken.
It's working,
he shouted. Truthfully, you didn't realize yourself the progress that you made. It was just way too dark in the pipe. And the job required a lot of effort. The morning rays were hitting Bowser's face by the time his claws reached so far forward he found good purchase on the ground. And finally, he could actually help you push.
Okay,
he shouted.
One more. Let's do it together.
You were sweating profusely. You were so exhausted and thirsty. Not to mention the air below the king was getting thick and thicker, with both heat and his musky scent. It was making you blush, and quite frankly, really put you in the mood. You crawled a little back to catch your breath. Your arms were getting weak. But so close to the end, you couldn't just leave. So many others would have left by now. And you had made good progress. So now, putting your full weight into it, you jump forward. And then, after a loud plop echoed through the pipe, you and the king were catapulted forward. The Koopa landed on his spiky back, and you on his big, scaly, muscular stomach. Both of you were severely out of breath. After all, this was teamwork. Now that you got a good look at you, sweaty, exhausted, he placed a hand on your back, gently.
You're good, handyman,
he huffed.
Very good indeed.
You spread your limbs on him. He was big enough for that. And after this metal pipe, being on him was just super comfy. The king didn't even realize himself that he had begun to gently stroke your back. "I'm just glad it's over," you purred.
Was it that bad to work with me?
He choked. And you smirked. "Of course not, my liege. It was a pleasure. But how did this even happen?" Bowser sighed.
I was chasing that pesky plumber, and then I got stuck trying to reach him.
Oh? And why were you chasing Mario? Bowser blinked.
Right, I don't remember.
That wasn't even him trying to awkwardly flirt with you. Bowser genuinely did not remember that he was chasing Mario to get Peach back. Oh, really? You chuckled, as you absent-mindedly patted his cheek, like you did earlier. But do you want to know what I would like to do now? Oh. as you absent-mindedly patted his cheek like you did earlier.
But do you want to know what I would like to do now?
Oh? Tell me, big guy.
I'm going to take you to my castle and show you why they call me the Big Koopa.
You smirked. Sounds fun, my lord. Let's do it. Hey, thank you for watching my video until the end. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and watch a few more. But before I say goodbye, I'd like to remind you to like the video and subscribe. That really helps the YouTube algorithm. That's all. Hope you have a good day. Until next time. Bye!